Yeah, this has been a dream come true. As we've gone through this process, this was the only one. This was the only one that we saw, man, this could be a place that we could be here for a while, right? This is the type of place that ultimately you want to try to help and build and make it better. And that's why you coach. You coach to try to help players reach their highest potential to win.
This was a moment of progress, optimism, and confidence that we will achieve the ultimate goal as long as we have the right man. And number two, that man was Liam Cohen. Liam's outstanding body of work speaks for itself. Quarterback development is the bedrock of modern NFL, and Liam has delivered that wherever he's coached.
Hey guys, this is Liam Cohen, just touched down in Jacksonville. Let's get this thing started off right here. 3, 2, 1.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Tom McManus.
Not sure Dempsey's going to get in for the show this morning, but I appreciate it. I think RJ just understands that I've been missing having just one or two names on the open all week.
Right.
It's
Just
been a
wanted
little
to add
sad.
to it,
Yes.
make you feel more at home.
So we got Dempsey. No, he's on assignment till Monday, everybody. If you
There
got
you
excited
go.
when you heard the name. He'll be back on Monday with us here on the program. But Tom McManus is in with us again today, pulling triple duty this
How
week.
about that? Back to back once again, Tom.
appreciate it, man.
Yeah, it's great.
As we were talking yesterday afternoon, I'll let you know I had an idea for a question of the day.
Yeah.
And if you had anything like ideas for how to basically make it into a poll, right? And you sent me the poll options, and I was like, awesome. And it wound up being the poll options.
Oh, did you use them? I didn't see
I
it.
did,
Okay.
yeah. I changed up the question a little bit
Okay.
to more
You went with
fit.
the second. Remember, I gave you two different ones. You went with the second one. You said you liked the second one.
Yeah.
Good,
So the Chad
I
and
thought it
Sandy
was
real
pretty
estate
good, too.
question of the day today: which of these most match your expectations for Trevor Lawrence in 2025? And the options in the poll will be average quarterback at best, improved but no playoffs, playoff caliber quarterback, championship football from Trevor Lawrence. All of this is inspired. Did you see a couple days ago, I guess now, Nate Tice put out a tweet. He's over at Yahoo Sports, I think now. He may do a little bit with NFL.com too, but he put out a tweet a couple days ago where he said, here are my top 10 quarterbacks going into the 2025 season.
Okay.
And the 10 that he had on his tweet, Mahomes at the top,
Yeah.
Josh Allen 2, Lamar Jackson 3, Joe Burrow 4. I think that's tier 1 in the NFL, and then you kind of have a gap to whoever's going to be next, but at those 4.
Those are the top 4.
Yeah, and then 5, Herbert, Stafford at 6,
Yeah, I like Stafford.
Jordan Love at 7, Dak Prescott at 8, Trevor Lawrence at 9, CJ Stroud at 10. What are your initial reactions to just having heard that top 10 list, Tommy?
Loves his stretch. I mean, he had a great year last year. I like him. I think he's got the moxie and the poise to play it. He's got all the tools, but let's see, after they can game plan him a little bit more. Dak's just not clutch enough. That's all. Dak will throw for a ton of yards.
Sure.
He's great for fantasy football. He'll get you close to the playoffs or near them or in them. But then I don't know. Does he have the moxie to be that guy? Mm-hmm. Who was after? Just curious. Was there another? Did he name anybody after Stroud at number 10?
No,
just
and that's
those 10?
kind of where the interest in that list is, right?
Yeah.
Because you go through that 10, and look, we're all going to react to any list like this that has Trevor in it.
Yeah.
We're going to react to where he's at, and he has him at 9 on that list. When I saw the list, I was like, 1, where's Jalen Hurts?
Okay, right. Yeah, I'm trying to think who's not on there.
Right.
Yep.
If why isn't he on that list? And look, I appreciate the recognition for Trevor. And I fully expect that he can get there. He may be there after we get done with this season. I don't think it's crazy for him to be largely considered a top 10 quarterback after the 2025 season. He's got that in him.
He's got that opportunity.
But if I was putting together my own list, I wouldn't have had Trevor ahead of Jalen Hurts. I know that.
Yeah.
If I'm doing it, I wouldn't have had Trevor ahead of Jared Goff. probably.
No, I wouldn't either.
And probably not Baker Mayfield.
No, me neither.
Are the ones that jumped immediately to mind as the. I don't think I'd have him ahead of these guys. I can
at this point,
right? Like I can make the argument for why he could be right going into this kind of list, but I wouldn't put him there personally if it was me putting together my top 10 quarterbacks list. And it's a little bit odd considering how easy it is to put the 4. Right, like the top 4 guys are the top 4 guys.
Yeah,
and
that's undisputable.
Right, it's just a matter of, well, I think Burrow's a little bit better than Allen, or Jackson is better than any of them. Like you can have the arguments among those 4 guys, but it's just them moving within those 4 is where you're at this point. I was surprised when you got to 7, 8, 9, 10. Love, Prescott, Lawrence, Stroud.
Yeah, above the other guys that you mentioned. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, look, they. I wouldn't have Trevor there either. I don't know where I'd have him. Right now. He's top half, minimum. But he knows it. Everybody knows it. The whole town knows it. He's got to just improve. He's got to get better. He's going into his 5th year. I know all these coaches. Well, I read where Baker Mayfield's had 8 OCs in 9 years. Maybe it's just part of the deal. It's time for him to step up. We know he's got all the tools. There's no doubt he's got everything you need and then some as far as physical, arm strength, speed, size, toughness. He's tough as nails. He's a competitor. He wants to win. He's just got to clean up that, those mistakes. And it's not necessarily that, it's funny. The ball security, there were times like I'd go watch the, replay and I'd be like, I know why he didn't. Remember the game, he threw the pick and then he had the fumble. Who was that against? Was that against Green Bay? Right? Mm-hmm. Remember he was trying to get out of dodge. He was going to pull the trigger, didn't, tried to escape. They fumbled, right? Yeah. They sacked him and fumbled. Well, when you went back and watched that tape, the reason he didn't throw it is because the receivers didn't run the right route. And by the way, on the pick before, they didn't run it right then either. Right. So he lacked that confidence to let it go because they were in the same spot. Mm-hmm. I think it was Parker and Kirk or something like that on that particular one. So the ball security to me, I'm not that concerned about fumbling. He's trying to make a play. He's trying to get out of dodge. He's got to be better with it. I get that. I think he's fine with that overall. I think he has. In general, he's been better with that. In the time he's been on the field. Yeah. The last 2 seasons, he's been better. That's not a concern too much for getting better. Right. In those kind of areas, it's the bigger concern is he's been off the field as much as he has the last 2 years. And they can't afford that. No, definitely not. Like they are a rudderless ship when Trevor is not out there. Look, we were saying it yesterday. I think that's the whole thing. Like we are giving Trevor everything he needs to be successful, which includes a running back that can pick up the blitz. Don't forget, we were talking about that yesterday. That's a big one. But listen, I've got a gut feeling that he's gonna come up big. I think he's gonna put in that extra time that it takes. Look, man, we all know when you have a child for the very first time, it straightens your ass up. I mean, it does for most of us. It really does. It's like, okay, now life is real. Yeah. It's not just me. I thought it was an adult yesterday. No, right. Yeah. No. When you have that first child, it brings back great memories. There's no doubt. But it is. It's like, okay, all right, now it's go time. Now I'm dad. Mm-hmm. I know. I tell you, I say this to my family. I say it to myself all the time. I wish I had the opportunity to play for my family. I wish it was like a job like that for me. It would have been even more dialed in. I was pretty dialed in, but I just couldn't imagine that feeling of this is my job, not just for me and my immediate family. That's how I felt, like my mom and my late father and my brothers, my sister and whatnot. But then you have the child like that. That would be a whole, if you have a family, you have a wife, you have kids. I mean, that's your livelihood. To me, that's extremely powerful. So I think it's going to click. And again, I like what Liam is doing. I think he's holding everybody's feet to the fire and say, hey, look, this is how we're going to get better. Yeah. And I think they're going to listen. I think it's going to come together. As long as the O-line comes together, Tone. That's got to come together. Definitely talk about that on the show today. We have, just for comparison's sake, I just pulled up PFF's rankings for the
32 starters that they did a little while ago. They got Mahomes at 1, Burrow 2, Jackson 3, Josh Allen 4. I'll go through the list till we get to Trevor here. How about that? Jalen Hurts 5, Jaden Daniels 6, Matthew Stafford 7, Justin Herbert 8, Jared Goff 9, Geno Smith 10, Brock Purdy 11, Jordan Love 12, Baker Mayfield 13, CJ Stroud 14, Kyler Murray 15, Trevor Lawrence at 16.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Look how far Stroud's fallen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From last year to this year, he was like number 5 overall. Now he's like 15th. That's what happens, right?
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah, and I can remember when that list came out and you kind of saw that group. It's like, yeah, Trevor can get ahead of a bunch of those guys quick.
Yeah. Geno, I mean, I don't know if I'd have him in front of Baker and those guys.
No.
And by the way, I love Purdy. I don't think he gets enough credit for being a really good QB.
I know a lot of people, everyone has whatever opinion you have of PFF. I respect that they have their numbers and grades and they stick to it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is their grade on what this looks like for them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect them to have my grade. I appreciate them putting it out there, because everyone can disagree with everything they say about all these guys, and that's fine. I do think it's fair to have Trevor Lawrence more in that kind of area. I'd have him a little bit higher than 16.
Yeah, like 14, maybe somewhere like that.
13, 14, somewhere in that area. I was a little bit surprised that he'd be at 9 on anybody's list, but it's not. I expect him to play at that kind of level this year. So if you're predicting where things are going to go, that I wouldn't be surprised, but a little bit surprised going into it. We have him here.
And look, I love Jaden Daniels. He is, I mean, he had a phenomenal rookie year, but we don't truly know. That's high to put him there. Although, based on his play last year, you could say, and you just did last year alone, and everybody was last year alone, I think you could make an argument for him there.
We just mentioned Stroud after his rookie year and how everyone felt about him. Then year 2 happened. I'm not saying that that's necessarily what I expect to happen to Jaden Daniels, but if it did happen, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's a big surprise. I'd be like, that's the NFL.
Yeah.
They figured some things out on how to defend you a little bit more effectively.
Yeah.
Now you got to readjust to whatever the league is doing.
Got to beat the game plan.
Yeah, as you know, they're going to adjust to what Jaden Daniels did last year. We'll see how the counter adjustment when that shows up, that kind of thing. Want to talk about, obviously, Trevor Lawrence. That's why we have the question that we do. And I do think there's kind of the background question with this kind of thing, and it's what I really want to make today's show about, Tommy, is we have our poll options out there for Trevor Lawrence, and we'll discuss how we feel about that. But along the Trevor Lawrence question is essentially what we're asking is, what does a successful season for Trevor Lawrence look like? And along those lines, you can talk about that with all of the other key pieces, especially on the offensive side, right? And trying to put wherever we think the bar is, that if they cross this, they've been good, right? Like that kind of thing. If they do X, it's been a good year. It's not that they can't do better or you can't expect more or these kind of things, but healthy for all 17 games, we expect them to do this. And I think we can talk about that and have the discussions about not only Trevor, but Brian Thomas Jr., about Travis Hunter, about De'Ami Brown, about we can pick each piece on the offensive line and what exactly that's going to look like for those guys. But want to focus on the offensive side of the ball today, and we can expand that to head coach and GM. And what does a successful season look like for those guys here in 2025 as well? That's what we want the show today to be about. As we get rolling, Tony Smith, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders here with us for one more day. How have you enjoyed the week, RJ?
I've enjoyed it very much. Always enjoy being with you guys. It's been great, man.
Yeah, we got you for another hour and 45 minutes.
He's got a great radio voice.
Got a good radio voice.
He does.
And can the text line just stop calling me hacker? I'd love that.
Yeah, or like a late night lounge show, RJ. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You're
like
playing some music.
I can't speak for the
watch
text
out, Jimmy
line,
Fallon.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't call you hacker.
No,
that's silly. But people can, we all clown each other the way that we clown each other. It happens from time to time.
That's right.
Consider it a that it's their way of trying to jab at you a little bit, RJ. That's not necessarily.
Listen, I appreciate you guys on the text line and out there in Jacksonville, but in no way do I sound like Hacker, and I love Hacker. Hacker's my dog. That's my man. But you know what? James Coleman, I blame for this still, even after 5 years, and you guys have ran with it, calling me Hacker's apprentice. That needs to end, not now, but right now. I need that done.
There you go.
Yeah. How do you feel about sausage?
See, I'm not even going to answer that question.
Good move.
There is a Hacker answer to that question, and we all know what it is. We'll get into it, talk about some of the key pieces on offense, and what does a good year look like for all of these guys as we get rolling here on a Wednesday edition of Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Dan Hicken.
Something looks wrong. I mean, he's running around like he's on fire.
Oh my God, help me! I don't want to die! Oh, stop, and roll!
You're not on fire!
Dan Hicken.
I'm on fire!
Mornings on 1010XL.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
Jacksonville, Florida. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. CordellCordell.com. It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on 1010XL. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
These days, guys who go engagement ring shopping have a really good idea of what she wants.
I was looking for something very specific. My wife shared some notes with me with what she was looking for.
Meet Jacksonville's Richard Skinner.
I did some research online. I called around the city. I shopped at other stores.
But Richard found the best deal, the best ring, the best customer service at locally owned Beard's Diamonds.
We did shop around that stone and that particular setup with different jewelers, and Beard's was able to come in significantly lower. It was a no-brainer.
But way more than the price, it was truly a beautiful ring in a custom setting with a hand-picked, large, dazzling emerald-cut diamond. Literally breathtaking.
Oh, yeah. When she saw it, she couldn't talk for about 30 minutes. Her eyes got all watery and her face got red, and almost had a panic attack.
So don't make her settle for a chain store ring. Get something special that reflects her unique style, taste, and personality at Beard's Diamonds.
It's a one-of-a-kind piece.
Beard's Diamonds, Jacksonville's only locally owned direct diamond importer.
I'm the hero.
At the St. John Town Center.
Man, I can't wait for Saturday. I'm going to the Jacksonville Axemen Rugby League game. They're playing the Southwest Florida Copperheads, and it's gonna be good.
Rugby league is crazy. No pads or helmets. No, that's a real contact sport. Count me in.
Join the ratified credit union Jacksonville Axemen as they take on the Copperheads at the UNF Turf Field this Saturday at 7. Tickets start at $10 and kids under 12 are free at jacksaxe.com.
He's not Pistol Pete, he's Pete Prisco.
Been on the wanted list almost 20 years.
CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joins the Frangie Show Friday afternoons on 1010XL. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Mike Dempsey, and now's the time to get your roof hurricane ready with Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacks Beach. Look, our rainy season is no joke, and if your roof's got damage, leaks, or it's just plain worn out, don't wait. Apex is local, dependable, and will show up on time using only premium materials with ironclad warranties. No shortcuts, no stress, just quality work you can trust. Skip the storm season scramble. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacks Beach or visit apexroofingfl.com.
Maxed out on credit card, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Hey, it's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee and Kate's. It's local, family-owned, and they've been part of our community since 1926. They've taken great care of me over the years, and I know they'll do the same for you. Visit leeandkatesglass.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
David here with Royal Pest Services. It's back. Our summer Centricon Termite Special. New installs begin as low as $249. And if you have existing Centricon, but your renewal is through the roof, we can transfer you to Royal at no cost. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free estimate.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Mac in the Middle, Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
Tony Smith, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders here with you on this Wednesday edition of Jaguars Today. Mike Dempsey on assignment. Dylan Denmark will be back with us tomorrow. We'll see how the casino treated him. I haven't been checking to see if he got to see Ohtani pitch or not. I can check that out here in a couple minutes, perhaps, to see if he got that opportunity up there in Colorado or not. Let's get into what we were going to make the program about today, which is we'll get to specific offensive players in a moment, but I do think it's interesting to go more broad with it here to get things started, Tommy, and talk first about Liam Cohen. And I think his being added as the head coach here in Jacksonville has created a lot of buzz, right, around the whole thing. You've talked about how much you kind of like the attitude of the things that he's doing and the direction he seems to be turning the franchise in on the field, right? With making very clear lines of this is what we expect. Yeah. This is what we want. And if you can't give that to us, we're going to give somebody else a chance to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like
accountability.
That accountability is there. So in your eyes, what would a successful first season as a head coach for Liam Cohen look like if we get to the end of the 2025 season?
I'm going to say double the wins.
Okay.
That's the minimum. If you get to 8-9 and you're competitive in December and maybe you're almost on the cusp of breaking into that wild card, I'd be like, okay, depends how you finish. You know, you can't finish like we have in the past because then it's, then you're like, nah, that's not that great.
And the schedule is set up where if you're going to make a run, it's going to be in the back half.
Yeah. So I think that's realistic. You double your wins, you end up 8-9 at the minimum. Look, I'm hopeful that in December they're fighting for at least the wild card. And that can happen quick in the NFL, as we all know. You get the right pieces in place, you get the right chemistry, you get the right culture. They're all bought in, everybody on the same page, everyone's accountable, everyone's rocking and rolling. It can happen.
And we see it every year.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. With at least a third of the playoff teams turning over every year. They've added the seventh playoff team in each conference now. So, there's more opportunities, obviously. So 7 of the 16 teams in the conference are making the playoffs now. Almost half of them are making the playoffs every year right now. So essentially you have to be top half of your half of the league to be a playoff team in the NFL right now. Now, we haven't seen that 7 seed have nearly the level of success that we've seen 6 seeds have.
Right.
Historically.
True.
So I don't know if the 7th was adding all that much, right, to the NFL, but it did add another playoff team.
It added more revenue.
Right. And, it gives 2 more teams out of the 32 an opportunity to say we were a playoff team last year. It doesn't bother me all that much.
No, I actually like it.
Yeah.
I do. And I like the way they lay the games out.
Sure.
You have 3 in the first weekend, right? You have 3 on one day.
Yep.
2 on the next, something like that, in a Monday night game, something like that, I think.
They spread it out where it's
like
going, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Right.
Now they got the 3 days of the first weekend of the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, so I do like that. And it gives, look, I like 7. It's good. I like the way they have it set up, which means, I know it's easier said than done, but, like, if you don't make the playoffs, it's bad. It's a bad year.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like you said, your half. You got to make top half of your half.
Basically.
So,
essentially, that's what you got to do.
Now, that's more than simple math for me, Tones. I can't figure that out. No, I'm just kidding. But, that means, well, damn it, we better be at least vying for a playoff spot every year. Right? Or it's a failure.
I think
to a certain degree.
You set a standard.
Yeah.
Right? And I think the way 2025 goes will say a lot about what the standard ultimately is going to be.
Right.
Right? So if they're a playoff team this year, I think, Doug had that kind of thing. They were a playoff team in 22. Well, now we're going to be a playoff team every year for the next 5.
Right.
Right. Like that was the expectation. And it just didn't happen.
Got away from them.
Right.
They got away from them.
When it doesn't happen, it's like we got to move on.
Yep.
And that feeling gets on you quick if you do have that early success. And it's not wishing the early success on whoever's here, especially a young coach doing it for the first time. The offense, we just saw the success he had with Baker and everything that was going on. It's like bring a little bit of that, whatever that dust is, to Trevor.
Right.
And let's see what this thing can turn into. Sticking with more off the field, kind of above the field stuff here. Yeah. GMs are a little bit tougher to figure out what success looks like once you get into the season, right? Because they're not hands-on necessarily with what's happening once you get these guys all out on the field. But what do you think a successful first season would look like for James Gladstone, or have we already seen it?
No, we haven't. Because he's got to be right on what he's done so far. And we think he is, and we hope he is, and we're looking forward to watching it all come together. But he's got to be right. I mean, that was a very, very bold and ballsy move to move up to get Travis Hunter.
No doubt.
And the expectation is that you were absolutely right, James, in doing that, because he is unbelievable, and you can see it on both sides of the ball. And he's a major, impactful player for our Jaguars on offense and on defense, right? I think the 8-win total would be successful overall for the GM, for the head coach, for all of them, including Tony. But yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, we can, and we will. We'll talk about what that looks like for each of the offensive linemen, right? And what the expectations need to be for each of these guys.
Yeah.
But I think the Hunter thing will be kind of the lead thing because it was so bold.
Number one.
Right. Like it's so bold to be able to do it, right? To go get him, make it happen. We are going to let him play 2 ways. We already have a plan for what that's going to look like, for how we want it to work. Those it's so bold that he was willing to go that direction. As far as judging the success or failure of Gladstone, I do think pretty close behind that at number 2 on the list is how much better the offensive line actually got.
Agreed. Yeah.
Right. They're bringing in half a dozen new guys, and it's up to the coaching staff to decide who's playing.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's not a GM decision. That's the coach's decision when they see him on the field. This is what we think we need to do with all these pieces. And coach and GM work together to figure out who to bring in. Like I don't think Hainsey is here if Cohen's not the coach. There's a reason that they were willing to pay him what they were to get him here as kind of a coach on the field for the new offense. That kind of thing as it's all getting installed. So it's all those things working together. I would agree, though, Hunter's at the top because of what they paid to make that kind of thing happen. But the offensive line and how improved it actually is, I don't think it's far behind that.
No, I agree with you. I mean, look, it's rehauled, man. You're doing the whole thing over for the most part. Look, it's going to be a different kind of attitude up front. At least that's what we're being told.
Yeah.
offensive linemen who love football finish blocks with nastiness because they just love the game.
Mm-hmm.
They love doing it, and that we no disrespect to the guys, last year and a couple of years, but that wasn't Doug's scheme. When you're in a zone blocking scheme, man, you're not necessarily trying to get him. You're trying to cut him on the ground. You don't necessarily have to drive him in the ground. You just got to get in their way and make sure the back hits the hole at the right time. But this is going to be a little different. And you could tell that they didn't like what they had here because they, other than Mitch retiring, they got rid of them all. And it's going to be about finishing blocks. It's going to be about, being physical up front. Remember what James said, not only about Hainsey, Gladstone, he said, hey, look, not only does he know the system, but when he did play, we watched that tape, and he didn't say this, I'm saying it for him. Mm-hmm. He was an animal. I mean, he was finishing blocks. He was getting after people. He had a chip on his shoulder. That's what we need. And we need that across the board. And I think they're going to bring that. I really do. And I think, look, that's the way Baselli played. He was mean on the field. He could be mean off the field, too. But he was mean on the field. He was. Not only a gifted athlete, but he wanted to, he wanted to win. He wanted to beat your butt and say that, I won the battle today. That meant something to him. So I think all that'll be contagious. And you're right, though, because that's what you're counting on a lot. And a lot of it is, and let's be honest, we just said in the first segment, the success of Trevor is, yes, all the skill set, the skill positions, all that. But if we don't have an old line, it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
So they got to be right on that for sure.
And as we've said, including yesterday, they don't have to be a top 5 group. Just stay out of the way, right? Like if they're just not in the way of the opportunity for things to be successful, that's good enough. If they can be good enough that they create success, beyond that, awesome. And that's when you could see them getting to that 9, 10 kind of win mark. You can see there's the potential for that kind of thing with some of the options they have in the offense. So let's not get to the end of 2025 and be saying, well, they need to rethink these 3 positions on the offensive line. Can we get through a year where we're not at the end of it having that discussion again?
No, you're right. You're right. And think of all the good teams in the NFL year after year. Mm-hmm. They typically have what? A really good O-line and a really good D-line.
Yeah.
Right? And they're the tone setters. When they step off the bus or on the field or take the first snap, you're like, we better be ready to play today because this group is not only big, they're nasty and they're athletic and they're got something to prove every week.
And there will be teams in the NFL that have a really good O-line and a really good D-line, and then they find their Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or, they find their Mahomes, and then it's like, get out of the way.
Jalen Hurts.
That's what they tell the whole league. Just get out of our way.
Yeah.
Because we have the line of scrimmage, and our guy's going to kill you.
Right.
Like it creates the opportunity for your guy to be your guy.
And it showed in the Super Bowl when they didn't have the line of scrimmage, their guy couldn't kill anybody because he was getting hit all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's talk about some of the skill position guys and what exactly success would look like here in 2025. We'll start with Trevor because all conversations start with Trevor when it comes to the football team, as they should. It's the quarterback. He's gotten the contract. The expectations are bigger for him than anybody else on the entire roster. So we'll start the discussion with the skill position guys, with the guy that'll be leading all that. Trevor Lawrence, when we return, you're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
This is our house. Yes, sir. Our house. Let's get it rock and rolling. Our house. Hey, this is our house. This is where we live.
1010XL, home of the Jaguars.
Just when you thought we couldn't bring you more, Keon Atlantic is here with a brand new store. We have the same great team to treat you well, with new savings during our grand opening sale. Keon Atlantic is here with the new store. Shop our best offers and largest selection yet. Save big during our grand opening sale. Is there something for everyone on our lot? You bet. If you're ready to experience something new, the all-new Keon Atlantic is ready for you. Your perfect ride is a visit away. Online at KeonAtlantic.com. Keon Atlantic, your coastal Kia connection.
Brackish Vodka, the spirit of the sportsman and proud partner of the Jaguars, is thrilled to announce you can get all of their flavors and original vodka at PJ Liquors in St. Augustine. PJ Liquors, since 1999, has been serving up summertime fun. Now enjoy Brackish Vodka, the #1 local vodka in North Florida. Brackish Vodka is the first clean craft vodka, and you can find their 9 flavors at PJ Liquors. Brackish Vodka, for whatever your sport is. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
If life blindsided you tomorrow, would your family struggle? I'm Cody with Harborstone Financial, and I can help. One call could protect your family for life. 904-885-9566. Harborstone Financial.
It's Awaken 180 Weight Loss Wednesday
on Jaguars Today.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein and Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
Hacker here. Y'all know I needed to do something about my weight. When I saw Matt and Mike eating to lose weight, I figured that could probably work for me. And it did. Just look at me now. If you need a weight loss plan that works, visit awaken180weightloss.com.
When it comes to my opinion, I love dropping the hammer. I'm Hayes Carlyon. Listen for Hammer Time with Hayes weekdays on The Frangie Show.
Hammer Time with Hayes, driven by Kia on Atlantic. Check us out at KiaOnAtlantic.com.
Power bill just went up again? Why keep paying more? Clay Solar can wipe that electric bill out. Right now, they'll cover your first 6 months' payments. Visit claysolar.com today to schedule your free consultation. claysolar.com.
Have you been diagnosed with moderate to severe opioid use disorder? You may qualify for a new clinical research study. Dr. Ferdinand Formoso is now enrolling participants to evaluate the effectiveness of a non-opioid medication treatment option for OUD. Qualified participants will receive study-related care at no cost and may be eligible for reimbursement of travel and accommodations. To qualify, applicants must be 18 to 65 years old, have been diagnosed with moderate to severe opioid use disorder, and have not been on medication to treat opioid use in the last 3 months. The study lasts up to 22 weeks, with weekly visits during treatment. If you're ready to explore a new path forward, visit OUDstudy.com for more details and qualifications. Take the first steps and visit OUDstudy.com. That's OUDstudy.com. OUDstudy.com.
When the heat is on and we need a show we really care, do it with a full arrangement from Kuhn Flowers. This is Dylan Denmark. Let's make their day better than yesterday. Online at kuhnflowers.com since 1947.
Rebound Rehabilitation. 11 great locations across the First Coast, and they're just a click away when it comes to feeling strong and healthy again. If you need the best path to recovery, look no further than Rebound Rehab. Log on and check out one of their great 11 locations.
The team at Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to book your next round of golf with us. At Hidden Hills, we love the game, and we'll provide you with a memorable golf experience at one of the most unique golf courses in North Florida. Check us out at hiddenhillsgc.com.
Your home is more than walls and a roof. It's where you breathe, drink, and power through life. At Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to keep it all running smoothly. From clean, cool air to clean water, reliable power to expert plumbing, we do it all. For over 35 years, families have trusted Donovan to make their homes healthier, safer, and more comfortable. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing today, 904-270-COOL, where health meets home.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. He's number 55.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
So let's talk some of the skill guys and what good years would look like for them. And I'm kind of talking bottom line good, right? I think we can discuss what we think exceptional could be, how much we expect from these different guys what exceptional would look like, I think is fair as well. We're going to start with Trevor Lawrence. He's the quarterback, so we'll start with him. Okay. What in your mind, Tommy, bottom line is just beyond Trevor Lawrence even, bottom line is a good season for a starting NFL quarterback?
In terms of like what, stats or what do you,
Doesn't have
like
to be
what they lead?
Like it could just be a feel thing.
Yeah.
If it needs to be that kind of, but just in general, if you were going to kind of bottom line, this is what a good season for a starting NFL quarterback is.
I think, let me just take it down to Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the consistency, right? If it was more consistent, he would be way better off. We'd think about him a little bit different, right?
He's not the only player on the team that gets that, but
No, right. No, I know. But it's the quarterback position.
Yeah,
and there are factors that go in. There are factors that go in everybody, win or lose. I mean, it's not always just the QB.
Right.
But, you got to have the supporting cast. But it is, at the end of the day, the quarterback carrying the team, right? You got to have D-line to disrupt their quarterback, and your quarterback's got to take over at some point. Maybe not every game, but when needed, he has to. So I'd like to go through the whole year. I'd like to sit back, playoffs or not, sit back and look at 2025 and say, you know what? Trevor had a really good year, man. He had a couple, dips here and there, but he carried that team. Remember that game when nothing was working and he just put him on his back and took over, and Brian Thomas stepped up, or whoever, he's throwing the ball like crazy. He's running the ball. The TD to turnover is 2-1 or better, for him. So I don't care what that is. Like you throw, like we were talking, you throw 15 picks, you better throw 30 touchdowns kind of thing in that range. I think, that's successful. And just hitting those plays when you absolutely got to have. And also taking what's given, what they give you. Get that first down, move that chain. Don't always go for that big throw. Hone it in, hone that game in. And I tell you, I think he's got a good chance to do it. I really do. He's always had the physical tools. I just think he's lacked a little bit of the head part of it. Seeing things, understanding things, working on those things. But I think that's going to change with Liam Cohen. I think, and again, I'll go back to what Baker Mayfield said about the pre-snap recognition and how Liam Cohen specifically simplified it for him and made his game that much better. And I think that's half the battle. Think of Brady picking apart a defense.
Yeah.
He knew where he was going every single time. And they were open. Or he threw it in the spot where he knew they were going to be open. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just because it was that pre-snap.
Right. And every now and then there'd be a playoff defense that found a way to hit him.
Correct.
And,
disrupted the whole thing.
Baltimore and the Broncos found a way.
That's right.
They figured it out. The Giants did it twice in the Super Bowl. Found a way. When they were hitting him, he's a different guy. Every
quarterback is.
Right.
Sure.
Like that kind of, and I thought it was interesting. And it's why I brought up he's not the only one on the roster. I meant it from you mentioned consistency.
Yeah.
Right, with Trevor. And I know you've used that exact same word when it comes to Josh Hines-Allen. And that's what I meant with I think it's interesting in that I saw someone, and we'll get more into this on the show on Friday when we are talking about these kind of things with more of the defensive guys, but I saw someone that was reacting to, I think it was Lucas Van Ness with Green Bay.
Okay.
And his pressure numbers since he got drafted a couple of years ago there by the Packers. Yep. And they compared it specifically to Aiden Hutchinson in the tweet that the guy sent out. And it had Lucas Van Ness has 42 in 2 seasons, right? And Aiden
42
Hutchinson.
pressures?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Aiden Hutchinson had 45 in 5 games last year.
Right.
So he's comparing him to Aiden, which is fine. And it got my curiosity piqued. I was like, I wonder what that looks like for Trayvon. Right. So I went and looked at it for Trayvon, and he had a pressure rate of 11.9%, something like that. It was top 20 in the NFL in that specific number for whatever that's worth. But I was like, all right, I wonder what Hines-Allen was specifically last year. I wanted to see how they compared to one another. Hines-Allen's pressure rate was almost twice what Trayvon Walker's was last year.
Okay.
right? And then I saw someone that had just done an article, and it doesn't feel like the perception of Josh is this necessarily. The numbers are what the numbers are in this regard. He's top 5 in the NFL over the course of the last 3 years.
In pressures.
In pressure rate.
Yeah.
He's top 5 in the entire league in that number. He's right there next to Micah Parsons, right? As far as his pressure rates the last 3 years. And I think the consistency thing, it makes sense as a critique of Josh Hines Allen. I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense as a critique, but it does point to there's an opportunity, like when we did our poll question last week and people had, the sack number being the one that gets broken this year at the bottom of their list. And I'm like, the guy who said it is here and was doing that on a bad rushing team. Like, we've already seen him do it on a bad team at doing this kind of thing. I can't believe he's this low in people's regard for the kind of player that Josh Hines Allen. It's more my shock at how he's regarded, it feels like, within the fan base right now more than anything, is that we don't see that he is kind of that guy. Like, he's capable of being that guy among the handful of the best at this in the league.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, it is a what have you done for me lately type.
It's a consistency thing
league,
too. Like,
right?
I don't even fight it. He had those numbers and only had the 8 sacks.
Okay, so look, that shows that he's in the backfield a lot.
Yes.
Which is good. Okay. So let's talk eye test of Josh Hines Allen. Right? So, like with Trevor, I threw the TD to touchdown. Other than that, it wasn't stats. It was like, you want to see it. You want to see him lead his team. You want to carry the team on your back. Make the throws, those important throws, all those stuff.
With a starting quarterback in the NFL, as good a barometer as any is fourth quarter down 4. How much of a chance do you think?
Yeah, right.
Have?
Yeah, right. And bringing them back.
And that's a feel thing. And how often they come through in that kind of situation, that tells you whether you have one or don't.
Okay. So let's go back to the eye test on Josh Hines Allen.
Okay.
3 years ago, before the 17.5 sack season, he had, 8 or 9?
Yeah.
After having 8 or 9 the past couple years prior to that. And the knock on Josh then was he disappeared. Would he not? Eye test would say not every game, but there'd be games where you wouldn't hear his name, right?
Yeah.
Fair?
Fair.
Okay. The 17.5 season, we're like, wow, what a year. Every game, he seemed to be in the backfield every game. If you go to last year, you could see maybe not disappearance, but it wasn't anywhere near the year before, right? Sure. You'd see him wreaking havoc in games. There's no doubt about it, but it wasn't as consistent as he was the year before. So I think people, in their defense, are sitting there go, okay, which Josh Hines Allen are we getting in 2025? Are we getting the always in the backfield, 17.5, maybe not 17.5, but that kind of, range? Clearly, my eye test says, man, he had a phenomenal year. I mean, look, 2 years ago, he had a phenomenal year, right? No question about it. He had a chance at Defensive Player of the Year. Last year, it was a very good year. Not a bad year, not a good year, very good year, but it wasn't that phenomenal type year, which we expected because why? A, he had it the year before, and B, he got paid like he's going to be playing at that kind of level. Now, it's not all sacks. We understand that. But you can't go from 17.5 to 8 after you get paid and not think that people are going to be like, okay, I don't know what we're getting out of Josh Hines Allen.
Sure.
Overall, he's been a really, really good player for the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's no question about it. I hope he can get back to being the sack guy that he can be. There's no doubt about it, because there's nothing better than your defensive front hitting that quarterback, stripping it, getting the ball in the ground, changing the course of a game, killing a drive. Like third down sacks and just kill a drive, take you out of scoring range. You know what I mean? That's wreaking havoc. And if he can get back to that, and I think he will with Eric on the inside more. I think Josh will have a really good year this year.
No, I think he's got the potential to be a monster again this year.
I do too.
Right?
With Trayvon.
Getting down in the weight a little bit and give me any kind of push in the middle and let's see. He didn't have that 2 years ago. There was no push in the middle 2 years ago, and he still had that kind of season. So I know that kind of thing is in him. I do think Josh is victim's not the right word, right? But trying to find the right word here. But victim of the circumstance of what happens in each game a little bit in my mind. Because as you know, and we've been having these discussions, you and I have been having these discussions on air about Josh Hines-Allen now for 4 or 5 years. And I'm the guy that was ready to give him the extension a year before they did it, right? And it's because I was watching, and part of it is when the Jaguars were on defense, I'm watching Josh, right? Like that's the guy that my eyes are naturally drawn to, is to see what he's doing. And I saw him, I know it didn't show up in the stats as much as it showed up in my eyes. When I was watching, like I'd be watching, that was a good play. Right. It's not gonna show up as a number anywhere for Josh on this play, but the play happened because he was there. And I can remember specifically like the 2022 season when they made that run to the divisional round of the playoffs. The Jaguars after the year put out the video for the season. Right? Every defensive highlight they showed was Josh Hines-Allen making a play somewhere. Right? He was the one pressuring the quarterback that led to the interception. He was the one forcing the fumble. He was the one picking up the fumble. Like every major defensive play in the entire season was circled around Josh Hines-Allen. And I came out of that year, as you know, saying, pay him now. It's only going to get more expensive next year. Pay him now. It's the way I felt about it. I've been fighting what feels like an uphill battle on the Josh Hines-Allen thing forever. And I'm okay with it. Like, I feel about him
There's
the way.
no fight, though.
Right.
I think he's a great player.
Right. Like, and it's not necessarily, fight's probably the wrong word, too. Just like,
I know what you're saying.
It's I feel like I hold a higher opinion of Josh Hines-Allen than almost everybody. Right. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with me being lonely, right, in this place with the way, but it creates an atmosphere for me where I see the way people talk about it. I'm okay with everyone having questions, even the questions you brought up, Tommy. I got no issue with any of the questions you brought up about Josh or how he showed up in the stats last year specifically, like all those things. I have no issue with any of that. None of the things that have happened have been enough with the other stuff that I still see him doing, where he winds up still in a bad year, where he only has the 8 sacks. He still winds up as a top 12, 13 pressure guy in the league, right? Like, I can't let go of that. I'm not saying that that's the thing that he should only be judged on, but it's hard for me to criticize him too harshly, I guess, because I can't let go of but I've seen it. Like, even in a year like last year, it's not like I was going, where are you? I was like, he's right there. Like, I'm watching the whole year. He's right there. It's just a little bit off.
Well, okay. And I know pressures have value, and I know that's a big stat a lot of people like to go to. But if I'm a defensive end and I put a speed rush on the tackle and he just drives me down and my quarterback has to step up and move out of the pocket and he gets credit for a pressure, he didn't really do anything. So that he shouldn't get anything, in my opinion. Like, that didn't result in a sack. That didn't result in an incompletion. What if he just stepped out of the pocket and threw a bomb for 60 yards for a touchdown? But Josh Hines-Allen got credit for pressure. I don't know. You know what I mean? I think quarterback hits matter without a doubt. And then from there, it's sacks. By the way, and just to clarify, I watch the replay of the game every Monday. I don't have the 22. I don't pay for that, but I watch the replay and I take notes of every single play. I write down the down and distance for both sides, offense and defense. I'll throw in special teams when there's a big play or a score or whatnot. But I watch, and I know in my notes there were plenty of games where I wrote down Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker making the play, whatever it was. But then there'd be times where you'd be like, wait a minute, I don't go back in the game. I'm not writing his name down. I'm not seeing him make tackles. I'm not seeing him hit the quarterback. Again, I'm not sitting there going, wow, he pressured the quarterback to step up. That doesn't mean anything to me unless it results in a negative play. Right? I think that's I think Josh is going to do that regardless of who's on the field with him.
That's kind of where I land. He's going to be moving the quarterback regardless of what else is happening on the defensive line. Yeah. I think he's that caliber player. You give him something in the middle, and those guys are going to get run into him way more than they have basically since his rookie year.
I agree.
Right? And,
I agree.
You know, he was a Pro Bowler his rookie year, and he was a Pro Bowler 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he had that rookie year, he had Calais and Jan, and there was help.
You need help.
Right, on the defensive line. And it's remarkable that he had the season he did in 2023 because he didn't have the help.
No,
he had
he
Trayvon on the other side.
Right.
And he still got Trayvon on the other side. And I think Trayvon is still an emerging player. But if they can get any kind of push at all in the middle, there's the potential for Hines Allen to be into the stratosphere.
Yeah,
like
very
his
much
talent
so. I think so,
is
too.
at that kind of level.
Yeah, I think Trayvon will have he'll benefit too, man. He'll be up in that double-digit range and wreaking havoc. So, listen, again, Josh Hines Allen has been a very, very good player for this team. If he's going to be elite and considered elite, regardless of the pressure rate or regardless of stats, then he's got to do that a lot more, in my opinion.
There's an expectation with the level of player we think he is.
Yeah.
And that's fair.
And he is. He's a great player. Yeah. I want to see 2024 or 23.
Yeah, that's
I want to see that kind of year.
It's
every year.
We do the same thing with Trevor. I saw it in 22.
Yeah.
I'm not letting go of that.
Yeah,
he played well enough to get an MVP vote. He's got it in him. Right? Like, I know he's got it in him because I've seen it.
Yeah.
You know, it's the last 2 years for a big host of reasons with everything that's been going on with play calling. His injuries, I think, are at the top of the list. The problems with the offensive line. There are a bunch of reasons for why it's gone the way that it's gone the last 2 seasons. None of them excuses, reasons for why things have happened the way that they've happened the last 2 years. But it doesn't make me let go when we talk about Trevor. I saw him play well enough to get an MVP vote.
Yeah,
I saw it. And I saw exactly what you mentioned. We've talked about how to judge good, bad. I saw the guy that every situation they got into late in the game down 4, my guy's going to make a play. That's what 2022 felt like. Every one of those opportunities, it was my guy's going to make a play. It just hadn't been so much of that the last couple of years. We got to talk about some of the other guys on the offensive side of the ball and what exactly the expectation should be for what a good season would be for a guy like Brian Thomas Jr. who's coming off obviously a monster rookie season here in Jacksonville. We'll continue along those lines. You are listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today.
For the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. 1010XL, the flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Man, I can't wait for Saturday. I'm going to the Jacksonville Axemen Rugby League game. They're playing the Southwest Florida Copperheads, and it's going to be good.
Rugby league is crazy. No pads or helmets. No, that's a real contact sport. Count me in.
Join the ratified credit union Jacksonville Axemen as they take on the Copperheads at the UNF Turf Field this Saturday at 7. Tickets start at $10 and kids under 12 are free at jacksax.com.
Hello, all you Jacksonville sports fans. Don here from Taco Lou. If you're in the mood for some great tacos, cold Dos Equis, maybe even a sip of some fine tequila, then the Lou is calling your name. Come out to Jack's Beach and experience what many have dubbed the #1 taco in the 904. There are plenty of great taco joints in town, and we're proud to have been around for this long, and we have only you, the fine people of Jacksonville, to thank for helping us grow and become who we are today. Cheers to you, Jacksonville, and thank you from the Lou crew. Taco Lou in Jacksonville Beach.
1010XL is multimedia. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
You can't buy this kind of media exposure.
1010XL, maximum media exposure.
It's hurricane season. Protect your home with 904 Gutters with a Z. That's right. Z as in zone defense for your home. Water damage hits hard. 904 Gutters with a Z hits back harder. Search 904 Gutters with a Z and make the right call.
Life is just so busy this time of year. Between work, the kids' games, family vacations, I need a yard hero to free up my weekends.
You mean somebody who does mowing and trimming?
Yeah.
How about mosquito control?
Yeah.
What about irrigation and pet waste removal?
You do that too? You're my lawn hero.
Find your lawn hero at heroeslawncare.com. Heroes Lawn Care, because every lawn needs a hero.
Awaken 180 weight loss.
Jaguars today, Wednesday.
Yo, it's your boy E to the T here, and I know that getting into an accident is stressful, but getting the proper care doesn't have to be. That's why I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. Even if you're at fault, your insurance covers you. And remember, you have the right to choose your own doctor. Even a minor accident can cause whiplash for years if it goes untreated. So don't wait. Call the auto accident experts at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation. Your recovery starts today.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal. Pretty nice weather we're having, huh?
You think this is nice?
I mean, it's sunny, warm. We do live in Florida.
It's not all upside, Jason. Warm weather comes, so all the cool people hit the beach. My old air conditioner craps out, so it's 1,000 degrees inside, and I'm stuck on a video call in my underpants trying not to sweat through my...
Wait. Put these sunglasses on.
I'm not going to put on your...
Whoa. The air conditioning experts at Bueller Air and Plumbing can keep your home office cool and comfortable all summer long. You look good in your meeting, impress the big guy with your cool confidence, maybe finally make assistant deputy regional manager.
Wow, air conditioning can do that?
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend all summer worried the weather is going to be too nice, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
How wide is home plate in baseball?
Southern Oak Insurance is proud to continue offering coverage statewide. Financial stability makes Southern Oak Insurance a wise choice for your homeowner's insurance needs. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The home plate in baseball is a generous 17 inches wide, although most major league pitchers would think otherwise.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
The housing market is as busy as ever on the First Coast. And if you've moved in or moved on, make sure you have a team of trained electricians ready to help. American Electrical can make sure you're up to date electrically and maximize your living experience. Smart home automation services, home theater systems, outdoor and dock lighting, and backup generators. American Electrical can do it all. A team you can trust with highly trained technicians ensuring you have the best living experience. American-Electrical.com, a leader on the First Coast and powered by professionalism.
Yo, it's your main man E.T. here for Explore Clay. And Clay County is your destination this 4th of July. Start the morning with the Freedom 5K in Keystone Heights. Medals for the first 300 finishers and a scenic course through the shaded neighborhoods. Then enjoy the 57th annual celebration at City Hall with vendors, live music, and family fun. Wrap up the day at Moose Haven in Orange Park for the American Pride 4th of July, a free Riverside event with food, live entertainment, and fireworks over the St. Johns River. Discover more at exploreclay.com.
Mia here, and I love my custom closet from Closets by Design. With summer in full swing, having my warm weather wardrobe front and center is a game changer. No more digging for the right outfit on a hot day. If your home needs a summer refresh, whether that be a closet, a garage, or a pantry, schedule a free in-home consultation with Closets by Design. And the offer has been extended, folks. Receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off. And free installation on any order of $750 or more. Visit closetsbydesign.com.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Duck Duck Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning Services. Days after the Jacksonville Jaguars agreed to terms with number 2 overall pick Travis Hunter on his rookie contract, GM James Gladstone and company have reportedly locked down another explosive playmaker for Coach Liam Cohen's offense. Rookie running back Bashal Tootin, who was the 4th round pick by the Jacksonville Jaguars, has now agreed to sign a 4-year, $5.2 million rookie scale deal per Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network. The final installments of NBA mock drafts are coming out. The Orlando Magic and Walter Clayton have been linked for some time now. However, CBS Sports projects the Gator guard being selected at number 20 by the Miami Heat. Currently 88 degrees at 11:06. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Tom McManus.
Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
Tony Smith, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders here with you, getting into hour 2 of the program here this morning. Want to get back to some of the skill position players here on the Jaguars offense and what exactly successful seasons would look like for them. But first, let's take a look around the rest of the National Football League.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Pittsburgh quarterback, still feels weird to say, Aaron Rodgers told the Pat McAfee show that he is pretty sure that this will be his last season, saying that was why the deal he got with them is just a one-year deal. Rodgers, who only worked out with the Steelers for a few days at the end of their offseason work for their mini camp, also said that he will be bringing some of his new Steelers teammates out to Malibu. Sounds nice. So they can work out together here in the next couple of weeks. Las Vegas Raiders defensive tackle Christian Wilkins was seen wearing a boot on his left foot at the team's facility last week as he continues to work through his recovery from a Jones fracture that he suffered in October. Head coach Pete Carroll said recently that Wilkins is in the midst of a long, challenging process, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers announced yesterday that they will be wearing those creamsicle uniforms for their Week 15 game on Thursday Night Football against the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, cool.
Do the Falcons get to wear throwbacks that night, too?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
That'd be kind of fun.
That would be.
Watch those two old... I love those old Falcons uniforms.
Yeah, they are cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, heck yeah.
I may prefer those to the creamsicles.
Yeah.
They're both good.
Man, a shame about Christian Wilkins, man. Jeez, he is a heck of a player.
Yeah.
Got to have your feet.
Still coming back. We'll see how far back he gets. Let's talk a little bit about some of these skill position guys. We talked about Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah.
Coming off a monster rookie season. And
not getting recognized like halfway through.
Right.
Crazy.
And so with all of that in mind, given it's kind of interesting, we talk about there are levels of expectation for each guy.
Yeah.
Brian Thomas Jr., they're high.
Oh, yeah.
So, bottom line, good season for BTJ. What does it look like?
Good or great? What do we
Give me
talking?
good and then give me great.
Good would be 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns. Great would be 1,400 yards and 11 touchdowns, or 12 maybe, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that too much to ask?
It's
I
fair.
love that guy. Listen, he's the next coming to Jay Smooth. I tell you what, man, he can be really special. He already is, but he can even be more. Give him a year where he is a focal point, where the quarterback's actually looking at him to throw him the football.
Where he's going to get the 8 targets every week.
Right. So it's going to be, and he's already confident. He should be. The confidence in that young man should be through the roof after the year he's put on in his rookie year.
I think having a guy like Travis Hunter around him is going to help him as far as, taking some of the public heat's going to be off BTJ. Even coming off the year he's had with all the Travis Hunter stuff this offseason, the entire national story about the Jags is Hunter, right? And what it's going to be. And a lot of the local story is Hunter. And what is it going to be?
Yeah.
So Brian Thomas Jr. has kind of been able to quietly take care of whatever business he felt like he needed to take care of here in this offseason. Yeah. How much do you think adding Hunter to the offense ultimately can help Brian Thomas Jr.
Oh, big time. Big time, because if you get Travis going vertical, you get Diami going vertical, you got to double somebody. And if you start getting burned by Travis because he's one-on-one, what are you going to do? You're going to throw that safety over the top and at least help him out. And that'll leave Brian Thomas with a little one-on-one action. And if you try to double them both, well, you got Diami down the middle, and no backer is going to be able to keep up with that, or safety for that matter. So I think it's going to help a lot. look, Travis is very special. I'm looking forward to his game at the NFL level. I think it's funny. Like, I mean, come on, if you're Brian Thomas, you're not like, damn, man, I just had a monster year. Now I'm hearing about this young rookie coming. I don't care what he did in Colorado. I did it in the NFL, man. What are you talking about? He's not saying that publicly. He doesn't seem like that kind of guy, but inside he's got. I would be. I'm like, who's this rookie?
Yeah.
What? I don't care what he did at the college level, man. Look what I did last year in the NFL, and I'm going to do it again.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if anyone who can play at the kind of level that BTJ appears to be able to play at doesn't have some of that ego. I think that's part of the reason you can play at that kind of level. But I do appreciate that he's not the one who's needing to be loud about it now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there is something that I really dig about that. Want to talk about offensive line, and we can bunch in Brenton Strange with them when we talk about them in the next segment here. But before we get to that, and I don't think there's a player on the team that it's more complicated to answer this than it is for Hunter. What is a good season for him as a wide receiver? Given we know he's going to be playing defense, we're not sure how much he's going to be doing of either at this point. But what does a good season for Travis Hunter
for receiver? Just start with that.
Let's start with receiver.
800 yards maybe and 6 to 8 touchdowns. Trevor's already got 20 touchdowns, man. Are you kidding me? Just out of 2 guys.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Is that a lot to ask? 6 maybe. How about that? 6 touchdowns, not a 5 or 6, somewhere around there.
What do you expect his role to be?
Well, I don't, here's the thing. We've got to see him in live action as to really, truly know what he can do. Can he run all the routes? He can. They say he can. Did in college. I get that. But can he at the NFL level? That's the thing with Brian Thomas we didn't know about till he got here and got into it. Like, wow, this guy can. He can break it off at 10 yards. He can run that quick slam. Man, he'll go across the middle all day long, not even think. And then he'll burn you deep, right? No, we've seen it in practice, but that's practice, as AI would say, out of Travis Hunter. But I just expect. I personally, my alpha number 1 is Brian Thomas.
For sure.
And my number 2, which is 1A, but a compliment. They're both going to complement each other because of that speed. Is Travis Hunter. Like, he's in a nice complementary role. That may change over. They may battle it out who the alpha dog is if Travis Hunter can do everything that Brian Thomas Jr. can do. And we're going to find out. They say he can. So wouldn't that be great to have 2 alpha? I mean, normally what do you have? You have look at Chase and Higgins, right? Higgins isn't slow by any means. He's actually pretty fast, but he's a different kind of player than Jamar Chase.
He'd be the one on a bunch of teams.
Right, but in their system, he's kind of like a possession number 2
they can
type
afford
guy.
for him to be that because they have Jamar.
Correct. What if you have 2 Jamars?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When we talked about it on Friday, right, and someone asked, what is the comparison historically? And they had brought up the Jimmy and Keenan, right, here in Jacksonville. And it's like, they're not that.
Right.
Like, these 2 guys obviously aren't that. And someone brought in the Rams thing, and it's like, it's more that to me.
Yeah.
Right. It's
more
the Isaac and Torrey, right? And that you have the potential in Jacksonville to have 2 guys that when you need them to be the alpha in any given week can be the alpha, right? In that week. And they've never had that. Like, they've never truly had that. They've had Jimmy was the alpha and Keenan was awesome. Like, as the compliment to what Jimmy brought into that, Keenan was as perfect could be.
Maybe we define alpha a little bit because there were game plans where Keenan would be the number 1 target because he's going to be one-on-one inside and nobody can cover.
They can't cover the middle of the field.
So think about what was different about Jimmy and Keenan. Keenan couldn't line up at number X and run a post pattern and just fly down the field. He wasn't slow, but he wasn't Jimmy Smith, right? Jimmy's into that route. Next thing you know, he's got
the special thing that Jimmy had.
Right, he could really get down the field. So that, and maybe alpha's the wrong word, but it's more of a number 1 and a number 2, a playmaking, take it to the house on any given moment, and a possession type receiver.
I think I'm being unfair.
No, right? I was kind of doing the same thing.
As I'm thinking through it, I think I'm being unfair given that as I think about it, I don't think Amon-Ra St. Brown is playing the X all that much. Right?
Good comparison.
That doesn't make him not an alpha.
Right. Correct.
So Keenan had that Amon-Ra
He was a
thing.
dog. Keenan was a dog. Big
While
time.
Jimmy had the X thing.
Correct.
Right? And they don't have the Amon-Ra to the Jimmy. Right. In the offense right now with these two guys. It's something else. It's not even exactly what Cincinnati has. It is more the Rams thing.
Yeah.
Where you have two X receivers and we're going to put them where we want to put them.
Right.
To get the matchup we want on any given play.
Put them on this. Try putting them next to each other on the same side of the formation. You're going to freak some people out. Let me tell you. And then
Absolutely.
throw Diami right next to him, too. Yeah. I'm telling you, that's why I keep saying, like, I know people want to see him at corner, and I do, too. It's fine, but I want him in this offense. That three-headed monster plus Strange is going to be a heck of a thing to try to cover down with Diami, with Travis, with BT. You know what I mean? I want to see that in action because I think that's going to score you some points.
I do, too. Let's talk about how they create the time for any of this to happen. Let's talk offensive line when we return and what a good season for each of these guys would be. Who do we think is most in line to have that kind of season along this offensive line? Even, the discussions are pretty wide open on who the five are going to be week one for this football team. So we can get into all that as we continue along. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Sometimes it takes a little something extra.
All he needs is a little jolt of the miraculous elixir.
1010XL. Jacksonville Sports Talk Elixir.
Hayes Carline here. If you're shopping for a new ride, you've got to check out Atlantic Infinity. Not only do you get a luxury vehicle, you also get the Atlantic Infinity Promise Free with every new car. That's almost $2,500 in added value just for buying smarter, and you don't have to sweat it out on the lot. Shop in their indoor, climate-controlled showrooms. It's cool, comfortable, hassle-free. They're on Atlantic near St. John's Bluff, or browse anytime at atlanticinfinity.com.
June is Men's Health Month. Be proactive towards your prostate, ED, low T, even kidney stones with Ackerman Urology. Offices in Mandarin, Middleburg, The Beaches, and World Golf Village. Trust the men's health experts at AckermanUrology.com.
Duck Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When you need help with any plumbing, septic, or AC issue, just give us a call and relax. We'll send one of our first-round draft picks to tackle your problems today. DuckDuckRooter.com. That's DuckDuckRooter.com.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on Jaguars Today. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, your long-term solution for weight loss.
When you're experiencing sudden, unexpected dental pain, the last thing you want to hear is that your dentist can't see you until next week. That's why I'm so glad I found Harbor Dental Care. Whenever I call, they always find a way to see me within 24 hours, and they can usually fix whatever's wrong the same day. Plus, they have locations throughout Jacksonville, so no matter what side of town I'm on, I can always count on the same great care. If you want to find a dentist who believes in treating people right, learn more at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Hey, Jacksonville Hicken here. I've been around the block or two, and Checkmate Coatings is who I'd call for my own place. They're my new MVP for stunning, long-lasting floors.
Brendan here with Checkmate Coatings. No massive overhead means top prices on top-quality pool decks, driveways, garages, and patios, too.
Visit CheckmateCoatings.com today. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 five-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
The 2025 season schedule has dropped, and single-game tickets are on sale now. Be at the bank to watch Travis Hunter, Trevor Lawrence, and the Jaguars take on the biggest names in the NFL. Don't miss your favorite matchup and secure your tickets now by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. See you this fall, Jags fans.
Yes, sir. That's the best decision.
I love it. Don't miss the Bari Breakdown with Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays around 3:20 for the latest in sports injuries. From all the big names in the game, who's MIA, who's coming back from injury. Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays at 3:20.
Hi, folks. Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Ever wonder what to do with leftover paint that you don't want? Here's a few options. Paint can be placed in the regular trash if it's dry. Simply stir in kitty litter to a thick consistency. Then wait a few days with the lid off till it dries. Also, if the paint is good, there's many charities or churches that would love to have it. If you'd like more tips or have a project, we'd love to help. Go to performance-painting.com. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance painting.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pools. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold's recently hit an all-time high at over $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Denny Thompson here. You got to check out Tyson's Showroom Home Theater with surround sound and comfy theater chairs. You can transform your living room into a cinematic experience. I can stay there to watch all my games. It's that comfortable. Call Tyson today and bring the theater experience home. Tyson Sound and Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming Island.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. You're Mackin' with Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
Tony Smith, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders here with you. Want to talk offensive line and expectations. And I've been thinking through how I want to ask this question.
Okay.
I'll ask it this way. We fast forward, it's the end of the 2025 season.
Okay.
What offensive lineman had the best year? Now we're going on, it's all guesswork.
I'm going to say McCary.
Okay. Why McCary?
Or McCary. Because he comes from Baltimore, and those guys are typically tough up front. So I'm expecting that kind of toughness coming from him.
Where do you think he'll primarily be playing?
That's a great question, but I think right guard. I think there's a slight chance that he may have to play right tackle at some point, but I think he's going to be our right guard.
Okay.
Yep.
So it would sound like the expectation then for a guy like McCary would be that he plays like the best offensive lineman on the team.
Yeah.
It's kind of the expectation for him going into this year. When we talk about the other pieces on that offensive line, they all kind of have different angles to take at him, right? And even how to talk to, like, Hainsey, I think is fascinating because he's a coach on the field kind of sort of. Like, he's the install of the offense is kind of Hainsey. That's why they were willing to go as quickly to get him as they did and pay him what they did. It's to get someone who's familiar with Cohen's system and offense on the field along that offensive line. So it does feel like the offense is running smoothly that Hainsey's probably doing the job. Right?
Yes,
like it's
especially up front with line calls and things like that.
Right.
Yes.
Like it's a pretty
All on
clear
the same
indication one would lead to the other.
Yeah.
What is a good season for Walker Little?
That's a good question. What's a good season for Walker Little? Just he doesn't have to be elite.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got to be better than he's been, in my opinion. So,
Okay.
I mean, just, look, I think that we've been, even with Cam, Cam would play great and then at the worst possible time give up a sack. You know what I mean? Like or a hit, like a third down. You need the first down. You need this to happen, and crack.
Then the defenders are rolling
Trevor's
up
getting
on
killed.
Trevor's leg.
Yeah, or what?
Yeah.
Just those types of things. And I think Walker will give you solid play, and then those types of plays will happen, and that's why I wanted to upgrade it. But a good season for him. Look, I think as a whole, you keep your sacks under 2 a game.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 30 a year. Real sacks. Quarterback's going to get hit. That happens, but you got to try to keep them from getting sacked. If you can do that, that's a successful year, which would mean that Walker Little had a pretty decent year. So if they can shore that, listen, again, consistency. If he can be more consistent, I think he got a really good left tackle.
There was
a pretty good left tackle.
When Walker Little got drafted there in the second round, there was some talk because of the level of recruit he was, the level of player that he was when he was still in college, right? And then the injuries happened, that there was the potential that the Jags were getting a first-round value at the top of the second round. That was in the water, in the conversation with Walker Little. So that would point to chance for him to be elite as a left tackle in the league. We've seen him now. He's been in town for the last several years.
Yep.
I think your barometer for good season for Walker is the right barometer for good season for Walker Little. Do you still believe elite is in him somewhere?
I think athletically, yes. I think he's an elite athletic left tackle. Size, flexibility, quickness, movement. I'm not going to say speed because it doesn't really matter, but movement. He's an elite athlete. He's Baselli big, and he can move like Tony. He just, for whatever reason, hasn't had that, that mentality of really embarrassing the guy across from you.
Do you think them bringing in the personalities that they're bringing in on the offensive line, the McCary specifically, but Hainsey as well, these kind of guys that, you talked early in the show about, they want to put you in the ground, right? Like having
they love the game of football.
Right. Like having that kind of attitude. Does Walker strike you as the type of player that being surrounded by that draws that out of him?
They'll draw it out. They can draw it out of him, but it's going to be up to him. And look, this, for the record, it doesn't mean that he's soft.
No,
it's not that at all.
No,
he's not soft. It's that he's just not mean. There's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And mean on the football field means just like, I'm going to embarrass you and I'm going to put you in the ground and I'm going to continue doing it over and over and over again. I think when you see, when James Gladstone and Tony and Liam both all say, we want guys that love football. We want offensive linemen that are aggressive. What did they say about Hainsey? Not only does he know the system, when he played, go watch the tape. He's killing people. Why did they draft Wyatt Milam? Because he's supposed to be an animal on the field, like very, very physical. So I think for Walker Little, it's gonna be like, hey man, you gotta keep up with these guys now, because I'm telling you right now, Fred Johnson, he hasn't been told he doesn't have a shot at the first starting position left tackle. He hasn't been told that.
No,
he hasn't been told that at all. So
nor should he.
Right. So I think, I think you're going to have to get on board to a certain degree. He doesn't have to turn into Steve Wisniewski, if you remember him. Yeah. You had to watch him around a pile, the old Raider. But you don't have to get like that. But he does have to get a little more aggressive, I think, in his play on the field.
Let's fast forward again, this time not to the end of the season as far as who the best offensive lineman would be with McCary there. We get halfway through the year. We're coming out of the bye week.
Okay.
No injuries have happened, so this is just
Oh,
what
wouldn't
we
that be
feel
great?
about the players at this point in time. Is Anton Harrison still the starting right tackle?
That is a great question, Tony. Man, you're on fire today. Well, let me tell you something. From out there watching it, what did Liam say? When he wants to,
he can.
He can. He's the guy. So that's a wake up call. Anton should take it as such. I hope he is. Lights a fire. Okay, I'll show him. When a coach does that, you go one or two ways. Either go in a shell and don't fight your way out, or you say, all right, buddy, I can't take you outside and whoop your ass, but I'm going to show you on the field that I'm not like that, that I will bring it every single game. But make no mistake about that. Doga is here to win that job.
Yeah.
And there's a battle. There's a battle for that right tackle. Based on what I've seen on OTAs and in the mini camp, there's a battle. They're sharing reps with that first team and second team.
Given whatever your level of expectation for a tight end and a Cohen offense should be, right? Because he featured Cade Otton when he needed to last year. A couple wide receivers go down. He featured Cade Otton there for about a month. I think Brenton Strange ultimately is a better player than Cade Otton. So I think he can create more of those kind of opportunities for himself. He does already feel like having a sixth offensive lineman on the field, and he is exactly what you're talking about with these guys that want to, they love it. Like Strange,
I love Strange.
Loves pushing guys around.
He's fantastic.
Right, and when he's being asked to block. So from a Strange perspective, what is a good year?
All right, I never answered your question of right tackle. I think Adoga is going to eventually be the right tackle.
Gotcha.
Unless Anton can turn it up.
We'll see.
Strange, to me, is one of their best players on the team. And maybe not just from a football standpoint, but as far as the right kind of attitude, the right kind of player, knows his role, loves his role. The great thing about Brenton Strange is you don't know if it's run or pass with him on the field because he can handle you in the blocking game.
Mm-hmm.
He can handle you in the run game. He can help that tackle if need be, right?
Yeah.
And he also can get out there and make plays. And he's a tough guy to bring down. I mean, I tell you what, you want to watch film on Brenton Strange, guess what? The first tackle normally bounces off him.
Yeah,
he does. Or he jumps over him or he does whatever, makes him miss. But he is very good in the open field. I kept saying last year, like, man, I love Ingram too, but get this kid the ball. Give him a shot. He's showing you that he's got, a couple big plays in him. So I think he's going to be good. The other two, Munt and Long, look, they're here to block. They're here to go out on occasion. All you hear is, the tight end's not that used in Liam's offense unless the wide receivers got some injuries. Then he uses them a little bit like he did with Cade Otton in Tampa. New team, who knows how that goes down. But I'll tell you what, I think you got a real weapon in Brenton Strange. And used properly. Remember, I used to, even from his rookie year, I was like, he reminds me of Juszczyk, the guy from San Fran.
Yeah.
Like he could play fullback, he could play wing tight end, he could go out for passes, he could catch a screen pass or a whatever pass that is out there in the flat. What's that?
He's a second-round pick.
Yeah.
At tight end.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of promise for this guy.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
He hasn't been asked to be featured in the offense, and I still don't think he will be. I think he's going to be the clear starting tight end for whatever that means in a Liam Cohen offense. But I'm right there with you, Tommy. I think he's the type of player that if they went in week to week saying, we want to get him 5, that he'd be good. Right?
Yeah,
we want to get him 5, and we want you
3 to 5.
Kill the guy that's in front of you.
Right.
Right? I think if you asked him to do those, he could excel.
Yeah.
Right? Potentially in that kind of role in this offense.
Keep in mind, we've seen him line up as fullback. So you could take Munt or Hunter Long as your tight end, throw him at fullback, and you could do run or pass with that.
And the opportunities with the options they have at wide receiver specifically this year we're keeping those 3 guys on the field and Strange on the field as our inline tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
The options expand. When you can do those kind of things in the offense. The only position we haven't talked about yet is running back.
Ooh.
We'll remedy that when we return and answer the Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day ourselves. Which of these most match your expectations for Trevor Lawrence in 2025? Average quarterback at best, improved but no playoffs, playoff caliber quarterback, championship football. We'll get to all that, put a bow on this edition of Jaguars Today when we return on 1010XL.
Jaguars Today.
You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. Jaguars and Gators, pro, college, and high school sports.
Wow.
Get the most play-by-play on 1010XL, Jacksonville's play-by-play sports radio.
Firehouse Subs has fries. Your hometown hero since '94 just cranked up the heat. Hot subs, crispy fries, golden, pillowy on the inside, and perfectly seasoned. Over 30 Jacksonville locations. Firehouse Subs, homegrown and now with fries.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise in towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Hey, Hickett here for my friends at Zero Res. Gang, vacuuming is not sufficient to maintain the cleanliness and lifespan of your carpet, period. Let me repeat, do not leave deep cleaning to yourself, but do-it-yourself dirt-attracting carpet soaking machines. No. Call on the cleaning freaks from Zero Res. Big summer savings. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129. Take 20% off air duct cleaning as well. Call them, 904-287-5727, and ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday
on Jaguars Today.
Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
Storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracts. Save 15% on roof replacements and repairs now through June 30th. And financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. Take a radio boat ride with Captain Cabin on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Reeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services and Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Life is just so busy this time of year. Between work, the kids' games, family vacations, I need a yard hero to free up my weekends.
You mean somebody who does mowing and trimming?
Yeah.
How about mosquito control?
Yeah.
What about irrigation and pet waste removal?
You do that too? You're my lawn hero.
Find your lawn hero at heroeslawncare.com. Heroes Lawn Care, because every lawn needs a hero.
ET here, and if you've ever been injured in an accident, visit my buddy Dr. McGowan at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. You have 14 days to see a doctor and protect your insurance benefits, even if you're at fault. And no matter what you hear, you have the right to choose your own doctor. So I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation. Their auto experts will guide you in every step of the way to ensure the care that you need. Your recovery starts with McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation.
What unlikely challenger, unknown even to hardcore golf fans, defeated Tiger Woods in the 2009 PGA?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Yang Youngin, also known to Americans as Y.E. Yang, defeated Tiger Woods in the final round by 5 shots.
Southern Oak Insurance. Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
North Florida is growing with lots of new families joining our community. If you're one of them making the move here, your next move should be a call to American Electrical to create the best home automation system, enhancing your living experience. There are many ways your life can be made easier through smart home technology, voice-activated systems, automated lighting, total house temperature control. With American Electrical, they've got everything you need to automate your home and make it your true oasis. Check out American-Electrical.com, powered by professionalism and raising the excellence bar.
Yo, it's your main man ET here for Explore Clay. And Clay County is your destination this 4th of July. Start the morning with the Freedom 5K in Keystone Heights. Medals for the first 300 finishers and a scenic course through the shaded neighborhoods. Then enjoy the 57th annual celebration at City Hall with vendors, live music, and family fun. Wrap up the day at Moose Haven in Orange Park for the American Pride 4th of July, a free Riverside event with food, live entertainment, and fireworks over the St. Johns River. Discover more at exploreclay.com.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
We'll keep the conversation going as we've had all day talking about what is good and bad for a bunch of the players on offense. We're going to do it, I think, flip it over to the defensive side when you're back in with me on Friday, Tommy.
Yeah.
But focusing on the offensive side of the ball today. And we've touched everywhere. We'll get to the Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day, answering about Trevor Lawrence here in just a moment. But we haven't talked running back yet.
Yep.
And obviously there's a lot of intrigue about who's going to be what in this thing. We've answered questions about who do we think the starter is going to be.
Yep.
Which is essentially saying, who do you think's going to lead the team in rushing?
Yep.
You know, this year, like we've talked about all of these kind of angles. Who, if you had to pick one of these guys in line with the conversation we're having today,
yep,
you had to pick one of the four running backs with whatever your standard is for each of them for good season,
okay,
right? Which of them do you think is most likely to hit he had a good season mark?
Allen.
Okay. Why
because
Allen?
of his third down capabilities. And I really want to see it in action. But I just hear tremendous things about him as a pass protector and as going out, catching passes.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very effective. And I think that could be a really nice role for that young man.
What does a good season for him look like?
I don't know, 30, 40 catches, something like that,
Mm-hmm.
Whatever yards, I don't want to think and dunk for 5 yards. And of course, He's not going to be 20 yards either, but, good 8 to 10 yards per thing, maybe a touchdown or two. Just really help on that third down passing game. And again, it's number one is going to be, can you protect the QB? After that, I just feel like Tank's going to give Tootin a run for his money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know, and here's what's fighting against Tank, and they won't say it publicly, but I will, and we all know it anyway. They want Tootin to be the guy.
That's why they drafted.
That's why they drafted him.
Yeah,
they want him to be the number one back on this team. And if he's got the goods, we know he's fast. He's shifty. He's got some good balance and good powerful. I don't know about I haven't seen all of his vision yet. I want to see that.
Yeah, he protects the ball. The opportunities are only going to expand.
Absolutely.
That's the way it feels like for Tootin.
Of course. And same with Tank.
Yeah.
Tank's got to hold on to the ball too, man. He had 4 last year, 3 recovered, but
you
can't drop the ball.
The same kind of lines to the question I just asked you about Anton. We're past the bye week.
Yeah.
We're going into their 9th game of the year.
Yeah.
Who's the running back in your mind right now that gets the first carry in that game?
Week 9?
Yeah.
I'm going to say Tootin.
Okay.
Yeah, I think now the caveat is he didn't put the ball on the ground at all, because if that happens, I would have a tough time putting him out there.
Where do you think Etienne's role is at that point?
I think he's not even here. I don't know how you keep them all. And what are you going to do? Not activate them? Etienne's going to sit on the bench and just sit there? You're going to do something for him because he deserves to have a chance to go play, right? For the humanity side of it. He's been a good Jaguar. If he's not in your plans, then you gotta move on out of here and give him a shot to go play for somebody. I'm sure somebody would love Etienne Jr. on their team.
Yeah, and I think that has to speak to how comfortable you are with Allen and whatever his role is going to be in the offense by the time you're getting that deep into the season. I do think that's, to me, the real kind of turning point on how long they want to stick with Etienne this year is how comfortable they are with whatever role they have in mind for Allen.
Because if Allen's not it's Etienne Jr. for the third down capability. You know what I mean? That's who it is out of the three.
Yeah.
Right? Fair?
Fair.
So I agree with you. I think LaQuinta, we're going to get that right.
Yeah.
He said we would. I should have done that last night. That should be a homework assignment for me. But if he can show that he can handle that role, I think Etienne, they'll find a way to move on from him.
Let's answer the Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day today, asking which of these most match your expectations for Trevor Lawrence in 2025. Your options in the poll: average quarterback at best, improved but no playoffs, playoff caliber quarterback, championship football. We'll answer that in the form of a 10-10 take.
10-10 take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
I'm not surprised at the answer that's leading the poll question this morning, and there is, I am not the guy that's going to get in the way of optimism, right? For fans at this point in the offseason especially. I'm not going to get in the way of optimism. It's obviously what we're all hoping for Trevor Lawrence. Playoff caliber quarterback is the one leading, getting almost 69% of the vote. Here this morning. I'm not surprised. That's probably where my vote would go to, and it speaks to my confidence in Trevor doing that kind of thing. Tommy, how would you answer?
Yeah, I'm the same. It's really my gut more than my confidence. I just feel like it's his time. I mean, look, it's up to Trevor Lawrence what his legacy's going to be. You know what I mean? This is it. It's year 5, man. I don't care what's happened up to this point. It's you. You're the guy. You got to do it, man. So I think he's gonna having a new child, being a new father, marry. You know what I mean? All that stuff. I think he's gonna have a really good year.
Mm-hmm. We'll wrap it up here in just a moment, but before we do, let's say hello to Helmets and Heels.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Lauren Brooks joining us. We had a bunch that we got into on the offensive side this morning, and it's hard for me to pick the one question I would want to add. I think I'll land on this, right? In our discussion about all the offensive players and good season, bad season, expectations, that kind of thing. I'll ask you the end of season question that I gave Tommy. We fast forward to the end of 2025. Who is the Jaguars' best offensive lineman?
My gut wants to say Patrick McCarry because of where he came from and the standard that the Ravens have for their offensive linemen.
Were you listening to Tommy?
I was not. I was not at that moment.
Yes, LB. Yeah, right.
And then I would give you a secondary one with Wyatt Milam because I think this regime is going to at some point have him starting at the left guard. So hopefully the answer is whoever the right tackle is whether that's Anton Harrison or Chuma Adoga, and the left tackle, whether that's Walker Little or Fred Johnson. But my confidence level right now is right guard and then left guard, which is different certainly than it was last year.
Yeah, typically you want one of your tackles to be the answer to that question.
You absolutely, especially your left tackle if you have a right-handed quarterback.
Yeah, so it speaks to, we all think the offensive line is going to be better, but I don't think any of us expect it to be great. Right, along
Not
the
yet.
offensive line. At this point, what do you got coming up today on Helmets and Heels?
Yeah, we'll certainly chat some bold predictions, our bold predictions for the Jaguars as well as in the NFL. And then we have Roger Hoover to talk all things Alabama Crimson Tide coming up at 1 o'clock. Our old Jacksonville Suns friend, Roger Hoover.
Sounds good. We'll be listening.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen.
All right, there she goes. Lauren Brooks, Helmets and Heels coming up next here on 1010 XL. Tommy, thank you for jumping in here.
It was a blast, man. I enjoyed it.
These couple of days. RJ, great job this week, my friend. I hope you had fun jumping in for Dylan. I apologize that we don't spare any time for NBA talk here.
That was like the sad part about all this. I'm like, it's Jaguars today. Could we say like NBA today or something like that? Couldn't do it.
No space for that, my friend.
No.
We hardly have space to talk about our favorite baseball teams, and we're very, very serious about those things.
But I definitely enjoyed it, Tony. Hopefully I did an okay job for you filling in
great,
Dylan
man.
Steed. So, I definitely enjoyed being with you guys for 3 days.
Appreciate it. Channel 4's Jamal St. Cyr will be joining me for the show tomorrow. Cool. Tommy Back will be back with me on Friday for his regular shift here with us. Thanks again for picking up the triple duty this week, Tommy. So, for Tom McManus, for RJ Saunders, for an on-assignment Mike Dempsey, and an on-assignment Dylan Denmark, who will be back with us tomorrow, I'm Tony Smith. Thanks for listening, everybody. Stay tuned for Helmets and Heels coming up next on 1010XL.
The Maxwell House Coffee will